All right, guys, what we're going to do today, I'm going to talk to you. This PowerPoint is very basic. The information in it is not in depth. It's really, again, the basics of economics. So I'm going to talk to you and go through here for those of you at home. I do this in class, and usually it takes, obviously, almost most of the period with a class discussion, things like that. But obviously, without discussion, it's not going to take me nearly as long to do. But I do want to cover the information because it's obviously very relevant and things that we will talk about. Wants versus needs. Looking here at the second slide, wants versus needs. Guys, most of you know what wants are. Most of you know that needs are necessary for survival. Food, shelter, clothing, that's really all that we need. Um, Wants, I mean, that's one thing that we as a society really are kind of confused on because we have so many wants, unlimited wants that we have, but in reality, there's only a few things that we actually need for survival. Now, wants are nice, I will give you that, but again, we spend a lot of money um, buying things that we want when maybe sometimes there's other things we could do with that money. And we all, boys, girls, I always kind of joke with students in class that girls, you only need one purse, but again, we wear or have many purses. Shoes are the same way. Girls need a pair of shoes to match every outfit that they have. Guys, on the other hand, most guys don't really care about shoes, things like that, but we do have an obsession with usually fishing stuff, hunting stuff, or tools, things of that nature. We have our own faults as far as buying wants and needs, things like that. So it's always a fun little discussion we have in class. Sometimes, going to go on to the next slide here, sometimes wants become needs. I kind of talk about creative destruction and the impact of the cell phone. No longer do we really need a watch anymore, an alarm clock, a calculator. Cell phones have taken the place of so many things. And now, that's taken the place of so many things, that cell phones become pretty necessary, especially for those people who have jobs that are always driving, working, making phone calls, business, things like that. So it's very relevant. And so cell phones, I'm not going to say they are a need, but in some instances they have become needs in certain areas of people's lives, things like that. So very few people still have a landline telephone. And again, we talk about creative destruction. That's kind of like Blockbuster Video, Netflix, and Redbox, things like that kind of caused Blockbuster to disappear. The cell phone has made other things, items to kind of disappear and go by the wayside. So there's lots of discussions we can do on creative destruction. It's pretty neat, pretty fun little discussion that we have in class. So. In economic terms, guys, only a few basic minimal needs exist. I talked about that. A big thing we'll talk about all semester is scarcity. Scarcity, guys, we never have enough time and we never have enough money. That is scarcity. And we will talk about scarcity all throughout the semester, and you'll talk about all throughout your life. You never have enough time in the day, never have enough money to do what you want to do. And so you and we've got to make choices on where we're going to spend that money, what we're going to do with our time, and that's what we do. Okay. Factors of production, guys. Let me go through these, and I'll go through fairly quickly. Factors of production. That is anything that you need to make a product. And there's 5 of these here. Actually, 4. We add a 5th in here, but I'll go through here fairly quickly. Land is number 1. You must have land to create products. You may say, well, you don't have to for this or that. Well, there's stores. The stores have got to sit on a plot of land. Manufacturing companies have got to sit on a plot of land. You may think land as far as growing corn. Well, you've got to have land to produce corn. So we always have to have land in some form or fashion to produce goods. Okay. Second factor of production. Oops, I think I messed that up. Let me go back. There's 3 things that make land valuable. I'm sorry, I skipped ahead of myself there. Land obviously is very valuable, but 3 things that make it valuable is land itself is valuable. Land usually never goes down in value. We usually always increase in value, which is obviously good. And a lot of people invest retirement monies into land again because it's usually going to increase in value. Resources. Also is another thing that makes land valuable. If you find oil, coal, natural gas, anything on that property, that obviously that property becomes very, very valuable because of the products or the resources on that land. The third thing is location. The location of that land, where is it located, makes it valuable. Way out in West Texas, guys, not much of anything out there in certain parts of it, and that land's not near as expensive as it here, say here in Robinson, Texas, or Waco, or Dallas, Austin, things like that. So location is another thing that makes land valuable. So three things that make land valuable is land itself, location, and resources. Okay, you'll see that down the road on future worksheets, tests, things like that. Okay, let's go back to factor of production. We talked about land as a factor of production. The second one is labor. You must have labor to produce goods. And it can be people, it can be machinery, whatever, but labor is necessary to produce those goods. Capital. Capital is anything you use to make a good. It can be as simple as a toaster, a hammer. It can be a big tractor that you see there on your screen, a stove, a microwave, whatever it is, whatever you use to make a product, that is going to be known as capital. Shipley's Donuts probably has fryers for their donuts. Those are going to be, that is a piece of capital. Okay, so that's all the capital is. A lot of times we think capital is other things, but in economic terms, is property used to make other goods and services. The fourth factor of production is entrepreneurship. The imagination, the ideas of business people, of individuals, entrepreneurs, to go into business and produce goods. And there's tons of people that become entrepreneurs. Many of you may want to become entrepreneurs in your future. I've had many students. We do a business project in my classroom. I've had many students leave this classroom and now are actually entrepreneurs doing businesses, and some of those businesses actually started in our classroom. So it's pretty neat, pretty interesting to see some of our ex-students go on and do things like that. So entrepreneurship is another factor of production. And we do add, I personally add, I say I do, there's others that believe this, we add a fifth factor of production. We'll usually add technology in there. Technology, guys, is such a big thing when we talk about mass production of goods. And the more technology we have, usually, obviously, the more goods we can produce in a much faster amount of time. It becomes cheaper. And when it becomes cheaper, obviously, we can produce more of it and sell more of it. So technology is our fifth factor of production. Okay? And this little picture here, I know it looks very simple and very elementary, but within this picture, we see the factors of production. So we'll kind of review the factors of production. You've got land, you've got labor, you've got capital, and you've got entrepreneurship. And then again, you don't see technology on this screen, but we do know technology. That tractor, the technology that's in tractors today is really far surpassed what you see in this image. So technology has really increased in lots of different aspects of our society. Okay, so that's just a little review of the factors of production. Okay, and guys, I'm going to read this little story to you. We'll be about done. Life of a French fry, and I'm not going to read this word for word to you here, but it's kind of interesting to let's see. Let me pause. Okay, guys, I'm back. Actually, I had a phone call I had to take, so I'm sorry I kind of got distracted there for just a second. Looking at the live French fry, guys, we go to lunch. We never think about how that food actually gets in front of us and all the factors of production that went into getting that French fry on our plate, say at McDonald's, Whataburger, whatever it may be. So let me read this to you. Let me go to the next slide here. There we go. Last slide. Life of a French fry. The French fry starts as a potato in Idaho. It takes 7 gallons of water to irrigate the half-foot plot of land where the potato grows. The potato is nurtured with fertilizers and protected by pesticides from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The potato was harvested and processed in Bellevue, Washington, frozen and transported to Seattle, Washington. It is fried in corn oil from Nebraska and sprinkled with salt from Louisiana and eaten at a restaurant near you. Okay, so again, so much labor, land to produce the potatoes, the oil, so much of that stuff we never think about. but economics is in our everyday lives. So, I'm not saying go think about every time you eat or anything, but understand economics is a part of our life every day. So, sometimes in the simplest of forms, and sometimes obviously gets much more complex. So, anyway, guys, again, that's just kind of very basics of economics today. So, I'm going to cut this video off here pretty quickly. But again, just to review, we talked about factors of production. There's land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, and we add technology in. And then three things that make land valuable is land itself, resources, and the location. So hopefully you get something out of that. And again, you've got this PowerPoint, this video to watch. Okay. Hopefully y'all have a good day, guys. We'll see y'all later.